Coach Shenandoah to coach the outside linebackers, and I'll do the coordinating.
Okay, so that sort of makes it a little bit easier from that standpoint, that you don't have to go to the outside backers.
Yeah, no. One of the reasons that Coach Shenandoah is a great fit is that he is an outside linebacker coach, but he's coached the outside linebackers in our defense.
Right.
So that takes a lot of pressure off from me and Coach Neal, all of us, because we can just plug him in and he can roll, and I can continue to do with the inside backers what I've been doing, and now focus on the overall structure of the defense as well.
Don, you remember telling us the story about backpacks and organization and how it was
Yes,
just the
sir.
linebackers doing it? Tony says the entire defense is doing it now.
Well, you know, it's a transition period. It's going to take some time, but in terms of getting everyone to understand the way we like to do things, we've kind of established that groundwork, and now the kids are starting to build on it, and we're kind of pushing them in that direction. But it's starting to happen. There's some evidence that it's happening, and they're listening, so it's exciting.
Are you seeing those traces of how organization away from the field with something as simple as the backpacks is translating into on-field success for these guys early in spring?
You know, I think with all of us, you know, organization leads to more success in your life. I mean, you know, it takes pressure off things when you organize and everything. You know where everything is, and you can find things, and you think in an organized way. From a football standpoint, everything we do is built on blocks. So if I'm organized, my mind will work in that way, and I have a chance to be a lot more successful.
Do you see anything about the defense schematically changing from what it was last year? I mean, you don't have to give away any secrets, but will there be little wrinkles that you're going to throw in that, as opposed to last year?
You know, defensively, the overall structure will remain the same, but there are some tweaks. You know, there's going to be some different types of blitzes and some different things that we're going to do, and you know, we have to evaluate our personnel this spring, and not be stuck in the old traditional mold of this guy does inside linebacker and that guy does outside linebacker. We go look at their value, you know, evaluate their abilities, and go, you know what, he's a great blitzer. Doesn't matter if he's inside outside. In a blitz situation, we need him coming off the edge. So right now is a big evaluation period. At the end of spring, we'll kind of look at those pieces and go, okay, in our blitz package, who are the best blitzers? Doesn't matter what position, but it might be a safety. We need to get him in the, you know, we need to create a defense to get him on the field. So right now, that's how we're looking at things.
When you were introduced, you were saying that you wanted to instill more accountability in the defense. How have they progressed in the past couple of months?
You know, from the winter, what was it, January?
Yeah.
January to now, I think our kids, the accountability to the defense has improved dramatically. I mean, guys, you can tell guys know what they're supposed to do. They've been studying in the off season. You know, the first day of practice yesterday, the communication was at a level we've never achieved in the first 2 weeks of practice. So there's been some accountability. Those kids, the beauty of the kids, they want to do well. You know, they just want direction. You give them direction, you lay it out, give them a clear path, and the good kids, they'll do it. And that's where we've been doing it, and there's evidence that it's starting to go. Now, they're kids, so we've got to keep pushing it. But initially, yeah, we're at a good spot right now.
You're replacing 3 starters in the secondary. How do you feel about the progress there with the guys you have coming back?
You know, it's early right now, but I know with the veteran leadership of Efo, who's played a ton of football. Eric Dargan's played a ton. He hasn't started a lot, but he's played a ton. And Dior Mathis has played a lot. You know, those 3 guys are doing a great job right now of mentoring the younger players. And we have some very talented young players. So, you know, through 2 days of practice, you know, there's some mistakes, but in terms of athleticism and guys flashing, those young guys are moving around pretty well. So right now we feel pretty good. You know,
Tom, what about
if we can keep progressing.
Sorry. What about that swagger that you talked about bringing? Offensive guys said that they noticed it yesterday. Marcus said you dominated the offense for a couple of sequences there. Are you seeing it?
You know, that's going to be a process. But what we're trying to do, you know, we start talking about swag. We're not talking about being idiots and bad people. We're talking about playing with some confidence and a chip, right? And then walking out there, you know, in football, you got to walk out with attitude. And football's one of those sports, and we're trying to develop that. And the kids are embracing it. I mean, they're juiced. So, you know, that's going to be a process. But in the end, in the spring, in the fall, into first game, we should have kind of an identity, you know, and that identity is going to be formed on our attitude and our swagger.
John, looking back on it, was being a defensive coordinator something you always wanted to do, or was remaining in Eugene kind of the bigger priority for you?
You know, there were some earlier opportunities, you know, years back now, but the priority was this is a great job, and I was not going to take off and just start chasing jobs, trying to become a coordinator when I had a great job. I mean, really, it's truly a great job. You know, the people we work with are friends. It's not like going to a job where you have co-workers. These are buddies. These are friends. So, you know, I made a decision a long time ago that I'm not going to chase a bunch of jobs. I'd love to be the coordinator. If the right thing came, maybe I'd look at it. But I was really happy and content staying here.
So that, and I mean, how kind of, you know, good does it make you feel that you got the opportunity now to be the coordinator?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, unreal. It's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. I wasn't anticipating this happening. I didn't know how long Coach Aliotti would go, but I did not anticipate this opportunity coming. So just fired up, man. Fired up.
So down the road, Don, if Michigan State comes in and puts up 40 points on Oregon, they say, what's wrong with Pellum's defense? It is a little different in terms of accountability, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you know, what has to happen? I've obviously got to grow some tougher skin over the summer. And that's a given. It's going to look just like this, right? If that happens, it's going to look just like this, just like this. You know, that's okay. That's okay. You know, whether you're the coordinator or not, if you're a position coach and you have a bad performance, you feel bad. You know, the coordinator has to answer to the public, but all of us answer to each other, and we all feel bad. So that's part of the territory, and it's okay. It's okay.
When Mark was taking over as head coach, he said he kind of relied on a couple of mentors to kind of get advice from about what the position was going to entail. When you're in these 2 months since you've been introduced, did you ever reach out to anybody and say for advice? What's it being a DC like? Can you show me the ropes at all?
You know, there's a couple friends I've reached out to that I'd rather not name, and then I'm going to get out in May and go visit some other friends that are in the profession. Some are in the NFL. Just to get, you know, the nice thing, what I did is I sat down and I, you know, when you're an assistant coach for a long time, you have a plan of how you would run things. I mean, because every day you talk about the same stuff. So first thing I did was put that out, and then I sat down with our staff and we kind of talked about a lot of it. And then we're going to get to the spring, and then I'm going to go out and talk to some other fans and just kind of compare notes and see where. But I think we're right on track.
That plan that you envisioned, has that changed now that it's put into action on day 2?
No, it's been pretty close. It's been pretty close.
Some guys said that things are a little more quiet without Coach Aliotti around, but that Coach Chenander helps make up for the loss in volume. What has Coach Chins brought to the staff?
I think Coach Chins is Italian. I think Coach Aliotti is Italian. I think there's something about the culture. No, Coach Chins he brings a lot of energy. I mean, so you're going to miss Coach Al. Coach Al's special personality. It's all of us. You know, when you lose a good friend, you don't replace that personality. We won't replace it, but Coach Chins is doing a tremendous job of doing the job.
Do you feel that his experience in this program and coming back in the leadership group that this team has already familiar with him, that it's come in and helped his transition because he doesn't have to do icebreakers for all of spring practice and getting to know guys that they already know and respect who he is and what he does?
Coach Chenander's previous experience here has been extremely valuable for that reason, because he's familiar with the kids are familiar with him. We're familiar with Coach Chins as coaches, so it's like, you know, it's like he's been in the room the whole time. So it's been really good for me, because we hired a guy that I know and I trust a lot, and I can give a lot of responsibility to, and not blink.
You only get 15 days. What are the top 2 or 3 things you're trying to establish? I believe evaluating those redshirt freshmen, who's going to step up in the depth chart. A couple of things you're really trying to get in this 15 days.
You know, the first thing we have to establish in these 15 days is we have to establish better fundamentals as a defense across the board. We have to be better with pad level, stepping, and striking. That's the first thing we have to do. Second thing we have to do, the coaching staff, is evaluate talent. We need to, even with the young guys, we need to put them in positions where we can evaluate and establish a depth chart. You know, the depth chart right now is kind of the post-spring depth chart. The real depth chart comes at the end of the month after we have a chance to see them. But we need fundamentals, punch and pad level, and then get everyone a chance to run around and play and get some quality reps so we can evaluate, okay, who can really help us and who should be first and who should be second.
You guys put on a lot of weight in the offseason. Was that something you specifically wanted to address in the offseason with the guys, or is that just the standard bigger, faster, stronger?
You know, I think that came down from Coach Helfrich when he looked at the needs of his team and he decided, hey, this is what we need. We need to get bigger and stronger. I think the directive came from him, and the rest of us all echoed it.
How does that play in for a guy like TJ Daniel? How has he progressed since he changed positions to now?
You know, it's only been the second day. I would say so far he's been fine. We'll know more tomorrow because we're putting on some pads. You know, the pseudo football goes away, and the real stuff kind of starts tomorrow. So we'll know a lot more tomorrow.
You mentioned Eric Dargan as a leader in the secondary this year. What type of leader is he?
Eric's a tremendous leader because Eric is extremely smart. And so he knows all 4 positions in the secondary. He knows nickel. He knows what the linebackers are doing. So from a standpoint of helping the younger players, Coach Neal and Coach Chappelle may be coaching these 2 guys. Well, Dargan can get that guy and talk to him. So we get another coach on the field.
Is it nice to have a versatile player like that in your secondary?
We have to have versatile players. Because once again, we're trying to get the best guys on the field. And like I said, Eric's one of those kids you may look up and see blitzing at a linebacker because he can do that.